Good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. We've got an exciting show in store for you. Yesterday, as you are aware, we had a little bit of a technical issue, well, a major technical issue in the 6 o'clock hour. We did get back on in time for 7 o'clock, but I've had people reach out who were disappointed they missed the Bruce Blakeman interview. Bruce Blakeman running for governor on the Republican ticket. So I am going to rebroadcast. I think it's only fair to rebroadcast that. He came into studio. So we'll play that in this hour just for those that missed. I know some of you already saw it, but I hope that you'll give it another shot and watch it yet again. But this is for those that missed it, tuned in at 6, thought it was a rerun, and went about their business when it wasn't. We were sitting here working behind the scenes to get us on air. So we will be playing that, and it works perfectly because after we play it, there's an update. You know, part of the conversation we had was about that matching campaign funds that they essentially took away from him in a very partisan decision. Well, we've got a couple of updates on that from Albany. Also, a couple other Albany updates as they voted to pass their 5th extender with no end in sight. One representative saying that the ball game hasn't even begun yet. And here we are on the 21st as school districts are looking to create their budgets, municipalities create their budgets. We are 21 days late on the New York State budget. All right, first off, viewer comments. Mark writes in, good morning, Frank. Well, good morning, Mark. I see Kash Patel is suing the Atlantic for $250 million for false statements that he has a drinking problem. Yes, that broke yesterday. He is suing the Atlantic for $250 million over a story that alleged that he drinks excessively and that he had mysterious absences, that he has a drinking problem that could pose a threat to national security. Filed on Monday in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. The lawsuit, which seeks $250 million, claims the magazine's story initially titled, quote, Kash Patel's erratic behavior could cost him his job, end quote, is categorically false and defamatory. The Atlantic, which published the expose Friday, cited more than 24 anonymous sources expressing concern at Patel's, quote, conspicuous inebriation and unexplained absences, end quote, that, quote, alarmed officials at the FBI and the Department of Justice. The story, the title of which now reads, The FBI Director is MIA, reported that during Patel's tenure, the FBI had to reschedule early meetings as a result of his alcohol-fueled nights, and that Patel is often away or unreachable, delaying time-sensitive decisions needed to advance investigations. Some of Patel's colleagues at the FBI worry that his personal behavior has become a threat to public safety. The White House, the Department of Justice, and Patel denied the allegations to the magazine. The article also quoted Patel as saying, print it, all false, I'll see you in court, bring your checkbook. A representative for the magazine told the New York Post yesterday, quote, we stand by our reporting on Kash Patel, and we will vigorously defend the Atlantic and our journalists against this meritless lawsuit. Patel's suit alleged that the Atlantic ignored the FBI's denial and did not respond to a Friday letter from his lawyer to senior editors and the Atlantic's legal department asking for more time to refute allegations in 19 questions that Fitzpatrick sent White House spokesperson Carolyn Leavitt. The letter was sent shortly before 4 p.m. Friday, and the story was published at 6:20 p.m. that day. Now, that is not done in good faith. You need to give a certain amount of time to respond, and that is not obviously enough time. Lawyers for Patel's claim that the Atlantic acted with actual malice, a legal standing that requires public figures such as Patel to prove the magazine's publisher knowingly printed false information or recklessly ignored doubts about its accuracy. So that is your update. All right, we've got some things we need to get to that there are no real segues to, such as the Labor Secretary, Lori Chavez DeRemer, has resigned from the Trump administration after the misconduct investigation. This has been an ongoing saga. She will follow 4 other staffers out of the Department of Labor who were all investigated and resigned amid the Office of Inspector General's sprawling inquiry. Deputy Labor Secretary Keith Sonderling will replace her as acting secretary. White House spokesman Stephen Chung announced minutes after the report that Chavez de Remer, quote, will be leaving the administration to take a position in the private sector. She has done a phenomenal job in her role by protecting American workers, enacting fair labor practices, and helping Americans gain additional skills to improve their lives. Chavez de Remer said in a statement that she was looking forward to what the future has in store and that it has been an honor and a privilege to serve in this historic administration and work for the greatest president of my lifetime. Now, Inspector General Anthony D'Esposito had been expected to conclude the DOL investigation in the upcoming weeks. There's a lot of complaints. A whistleblower complaint filed against the labor secretary in January that alleged she drank in the office during work hours, created a hostile work environment with her top aides, and was pursuing an extramarital affair with her security guard. The complaint also claims she committed travel fraud by having those aides, Chief of Staff Juan Han and Deputy Rebecca Wright, make up official trips to destinations where she could spend time with family or friends on the taxpayer dime. Her personal attorney said while she continues to strongly dispute the allegations that have been raised, Secretary Chavez de Remer believes it is in the best interest of the country to allow the administration to remain fully focused on delivering results for the American people. She is grateful for the opportunity to serve and remains committed to supporting the president's agenda moving forward. Okay. A couple other quick updates. According to a new poll, the American dream is dying, according to the Times. Nearly half of people in the United States today do not believe the dream applies to all Americans. Before the U.S. turns 250 in July, the Times asked YouGov to explore citizens' attitudes to the idea that success is available to anyone who works hard and plays by the rules. Although 61% of respondents said they believe in the concept, only 38% thought it existed for everyone, while 59% deemed it less attainable for Americans overall than it was when they were growing up. All right, there you go. So what was the exact number? 61% believe in the concept of the American dream. Only 38% thought it existed for everyone, and 59% deemed it less attainable for Americans overall. Okay, as I said, we're going to be playing our interview, rebroadcasting our interview with Bruce Blakeman. Thank you for those who reached out and were disappointed. I had posted on Facebook that we were going to interview Mr. Blakeman. We did ultimately make the interview at 7 o'clock, but we did have those technical difficulties at the beginning of the broadcast, so I think some people may have tuned out, not realizing that there would be at least half of a new episode. So I wanted to make sure, and I think it's only right. And I don't think, if you watched it yesterday, I don't think it's too much to watch it again. But one of the things that we talked to Mr. Blakeman about was his announcement that if he is elected, he will pardon Eric Duran, known as the Cooler Cop. Well, Eric Duran spoke out for the first time since being bailed out of an upstate prison yesterday, just hours after posting $300,000 in bail in the Bronx. The 13-year veteran cop was freed while he appeals his April 9th manslaughter conviction for tossing a cooler during a 2023 Bronx buy-and-bust operation that killed suspect Eric Dupree. Duran said, "First and foremost, I want to thank my family, particularly my wife, my children, and my parents for all their unconditional love and support throughout this ordeal. I also want to thank God for giving me strength and guiding me through the darkness. I thank my entire legal team for never giving up in their pursuit of justice. And finally, I want to thank my union, the SBA, my brothers and sisters in the NYPD, and my brothers and sisters in blue around the nation. Your unwavering support and solidarity will never be forgotten. Thank you to everyone for your prayers. I now look forward to seeing my family and fighting my appeal with the same determination demonstrated throughout my career in the NYPD." Now, we talked about the Islanders, had that big fundraiser for him. Many people seeing how outraged. If you don't recall, he was given, 3 to 9 years for doing his job, while that same judge gave a man who beat a homeless person to death just 9 months. More than 11,000 cops nationwide had signed on to a petition asking the judge to opt for probation. Duran, a married father of 3, now has 120 days to file with the state appellate division. All right, when we come back, we got a lot of other things. It's going to be a busy morning, but I think it's only right that we play the Blakeman interview when we return. So stay with us. This is a rebroadcast from yesterday's show in case you missed it because of the technical issues at the beginning of the program. Also, in the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to hear about the upcoming job fair at Corning Community College, so you want to stay tuned for that as well. So coming up, the rebroadcast of Bruce Blakeman after this.
On board Rocky Mountaineer, your journey through the Canadian Rocky Mountains is like no other. One moment you're surrounded by towering giants. You've never felt so small. The next moment, you've never felt so taken care of. Now that's a journey worth taking. Rocky Mountaineer.
Millions fly with us at Allegiant because together we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember and we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
Give kids time. Just 5 minutes a day. Ask them how they're feeling. And listen.
Aboard Rocky Mountaineer, you'll traverse the Canadian Rockies with ease, where world-class service and conversations flow like a mountain river. Rocky Mountaineer.
Hello there. Only a slight chance of showers for our Tuesday. Temperatures on the cool side of average by about 5 degrees, still managing mid-50s. Then we have some shower chances overnight into Wednesday. Temperatures bottoming out in the low to mid-40s. By Wednesday, seasonable. Mid-60s, we'll have a slight chance of some showers. Temperatures are rather seasonable, near to above average through the forecast.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. And here is your rebroadcast with gubernatorial candidate Bruce Blakeman. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, and we are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And in that studio, what an honor, Bruce Blakeman, our next governor. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Well, tell us about, before we mention why you were in Corning, how did the annual scope meeting go?
It went really well. We got a chance to talk about many of the issues regarding the Second Amendment. I think people were comfortable with the fact that I will support the Second Amendment, that I am a gun owner myself, that I'm actually being sued because I created a list of people that might want to serve as special deputies. God forbid there should be an emergency. So the fact of the matter is the scope people were great. They're great Americans. They believe in the Constitution. They believe in American values. So we had a really good meeting there.
And what a great organization. I mean, they do so much, and they're so active to get the word out about our Second Amendment rights.
Absolutely. They're great people.
So you're in Corning, and we just heard recently you cut your electric bill in half. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to mention that I'm here with Senator Tom O'Mara.
Yep.
I'm here with Assemblyman Phil Palmisano, and I'm here with Assemblyman Joe Sempolinski, who are all great leaders, and we work together to make sure that we can make this a more affordable state. So we're up here in Corning talking about cutting utility costs. And as governor, I will cut your electric bill in half because if you look at your bill, only 30% of your bill is actually going towards energy. The rest of it's going for taxes, more taxes, of course, by Kathy Hochul. It's going for excessive delivery fees, and it's going for the green energy scam, where they now have $2.4 billion of your money that's sitting in an account in NYSERDA, which is your money to be used for more of these green energy scam projects that produce very little energy, and basically they're very, very expensive. They're the most expensive. Now we're sitting on one of the largest natural gas reserves in the world here in the Marcellus Shale. We should be drilling that. That is a natural gas and a natural resource that belongs to New Yorkers. And meanwhile, we're letting Pennsylvanians make all that money, and they increase the supply of energy. And Pennsylvania, their utility costs are 50% of what ours are.
Right.
So that's wrong. And that's going to stop when I become governor. We're going to cut utility rates in half. We're going to bring down taxes. We're going to increase economic development. We're going to make people happy again in New York because they're miserable under Kathy Hochul.
They're miserable. And we talk about this on the program all the time. Everybody's talking, remember the days you talk about the weather, you talk about maybe the Yankees, everybody's just talking about their energy bills now.
Yeah, it's an epidemic in the whole state, no matter where you go, whether it's here in the southern tier, western New York, the North Country, the Capital District, basically the Hudson Valley, Long Island, even New York City. Everybody's complaining about their electric bills because Kathy Hochul wants electric school buses. She wants us to go all electric in our homes. People don't want all electric homes. It's much more expensive than natural gas. And we're sitting on all this natural gas and we're not even exploiting it. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It lacks common sense. It lacks business principles. And, you know, as I say all the time, in high school we learned about supply and demand. This isn't even college level economics, okay? If we increase the supply, it's going to bring the cost down because we know the demand's always going to be there. But the supply is shrinking under Kathy Hochul's policies. We've got to increase that supply. We've got the resource right here in New York State. We should use it.
You know, what's your reaction when Governor Hochul goes around campaigning on affordability?
It's funny if it wasn't so tragic. I almost fell off my chair when I was watching the State of the State speech this last year, and Kathy Hochul's talking about the affordability problem in New York. Kathy, you've been governor for 4 years. You created this problem. We are the most overtaxed, overregulated state in the United States of America. And when you talk about safe neighborhoods, you are the most pro-criminal governor in the United States of America. Every major policy in law enforcement is pro-criminal. Make it easier for criminals to operate. She fired corrections officers only because they pointed out that it's unsafe. Our prisons are unsafe. The prisoners are running the prisons. The lunatics are running the asylum. And she fired all those corrections officers. I was in Elmira. We were talking about it with the corrections officers. I'm going to hire them back when I become governor. It's a shame. We have National Guard troops in our prisons now. They don't even want to be there. They're not trained to do the job. They don't want to be there. And it's costing us over $1 billion to have our National Guards troops in our prisons. So there's so much work to be done, but I'm up to the task. I'm energized. I've got great Assembly and Senate members that are going to support me, like the ones that are here today. I've got a great Lieutenant Governor, Todd Hood, who's the Sheriff of Madison County. We're going to work together to make it a more affordable, safer state, a state that everybody can be proud of.
And going back to kind of tie those two things in together, corrections officer, public safety, green energy, do you think Governor Hochul, she says she's going to make changes to the climate policy. Do you think it'll be like she did with the supposedly bail reform, where she'll just say she did something with no real teeth to it and then campaign on it?
Well, look what she did with congestion pricing in New York City. You know, the people in New York City and the people who visit New York City have to pay a tax, a toll, on using a public roadway that their taxpayer dollars paid for. And by the way, if she's putting congestion pricing there, she's going to put it in other places in the state. It's a tax. So she said she was going to pause congestion pricing. The day after the election, what does she do?
Congestion pricing.
She puts in congestion pricing. She's totally in league with the communist mayor of New York City, Zoran Mandami. She endorsed him for mayor. He endorsed her for governor. They're working together, and working together, they're going to take away all local control in this state. They're going to take away our freedom. They're going to tax us up to our neck, and the energy costs aren't going to go down. They're going to go up.
And you mentioned New York City, and I saw recently, in the New York Post, where you had said that you would pardon the convicted New York Police Department cooler cop, Eric Duran. Would you tell us about that? Yeah, so sure. Sergeant Eric Duran was on duty. They were doing a drug bust. Eric Dupree, who was out on a felonious assault charge, was doing a drug buy. He tried to escape on a motorbike at a high rate of speed on a sidewalk with pedestrians and other law enforcement officials. And Sergeant Duran, thinking quickly, threw a cooler in his way to slow him down.
He wasn't wearing a helmet. He fell off the bike, and unfortunately, he killed himself. We don't want anybody to die. No. It's not what we are about. It's a sad event. But the person responsible for his death is Eric Dupree, not Eric Duran, the sergeant, the police officer, who was thinking quickly. And he wasn't intending to use lethal force. No. He had a gun on him.
Right.
If he wanted to use lethal force, he could have used lethal force. So at 12:01 on January 1st of 2027, when I'm governor, I will pardon Sergeant Duran. And at 12:02, I will declare by executive order that New York State is no longer a sanctuary state. We are not going to spend $8 billion like Kathy Hochul does in the last 3 years on people who just arrived here. They've been here for 15 minutes. They're not New Yorkers. They haven't earned anything. And I'm not giving them free housing. I'm not giving them free food. I'm not giving them free transportation. I'm not giving them a free cell phone.
And then at 12:03, fracking. So you got a busy, fracking. And then you got a busy morning.
You got a deal.
But going back to the idea with the cooler cop, doesn't it just send a larger picture about public safety in the state, that we always side with the criminals and tie the hands of the police officers?
Kathy Hochul is the most pro-criminal governor in the whole United States of America. It's a sad commentary. Every law enforcement initiative is anti-cop. It's pro-criminal. It's anti-victim. I talk to victims all the time. And by the way, I know something about law enforcement because in the last 3 years, I've hired 600 law enforcement professionals, 600 new law enforcement professionals, 400 cops, 200 corrections officers, and U.S. News and World Report says my county is the safest county in America. Not the safest county in New York, the safest county in America. We respect the blue. We fund the police. I have a new intelligence center, a new training village for our police. We want to give them the best training, the best equipment, the best technology so they can do their jobs as safely as possible. But Kathy Hochul is always trying to make it easier for criminals to operate in New York State. It's a breach of our fiduciary duty as the governor of this state. As the governor of this state, she should be looking out for us, not criminals.
How scared is Governor Hochul of you that they sided against you with matching funds?
Well, she's cheating, of course. It's dirty politics. I was certified to get the funds, and then they changed the rules, said they would create a new form for me to fill out with my lieutenant governor candidate. They never created the form.
There is no form.
There was no form to fill out, and then they said I missed the deadline. I mean, that's cheating. She is so afraid of me because she attacks me every single day, and she knows we're gaining momentum. We're now in single digits behind her. We're 6 months ahead of schedule, and she knows that I have the momentum. The people are behind me. People are miserable in this state. They want to be happy again. They want a governor that cares about them, that cares about their families, that puts New Yorkers first, and that's why on January 1st, I will be governor of this state.
How do you think your time as Nassau County executive will translate to being in the governor's mansion?
Well, it's actually been the best kind of on-the-job training because I'm the chief executive of a county that's larger than 8 states in population. Yeah. Wow. So, in fact, I've been a governor for the last 4 years, and my county has the lowest poverty rate in the state. I haven't raised taxes a penny in 4 years. I've hired 600 new law enforcement professionals. I've gotten 7 bond upgrades, and I've had 4 budget surplus in a row. So that's the way I want to maintain this state. I want people to be proud to be New Yorkers. I want it to be affordable. I want it to be safe. I want to create jobs. I want to create excitement and opportunity so that our kids aren't moving to Texas, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, or Arizona.
And it doesn't seem as if Governor Hochul's concerned at all about this mass exodus of people.
Well, she forced them out.
Right.
She asked them to leave. And then when they took all their jobs and all their money with them, now she's begging them to come out. When I saw that, I have to tell you, I thought it was AI. I didn't believe it was her.
I know.
I couldn't believe that she would be that hypocritical to do that. I mean, I thought it was a Saturday Night Live skit.
I know.
I almost fell off my chair when I found out that
she was serious.
That was her and she was serious.
Yeah.
You drove everybody out. Now you're begging them to come back?
Yeah.
And the policies haven't changed. Why would they come back?
Did you see how the media tried to spin it and say that she was doing parody? That clearly wasn't parody.
No, that was not parody.
No.
That was a cry for help.
I know.
Because she's lost.
Yes. How has the campaign overall been going? What do you say?
Great. I mean, listen, when we started out, they said I was 26 points behind. We never believed that.
Right.
Now they said I'm 13 points behind. We did an internal poll that says we're in single digits. I believe that poll because it's done by one of the best pollsters in the world. And I understand the Democrats have done a poll and they have me in single digits.
Oh, wow.
And I believe that because all of a sudden Kathy Hochul is attacking me every single day.
Yes. Yeah.
And she continues to attack. She's trying to cheat me out of the matching funds that our campaign's entitled to. So she'll do anything to keep the job. Listen, I only want this job for one reason, to make life better for you and your families, your children, your grandchildren. I want my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren to come to stay in New York. I love this state. I love the people in this state. I want to make them happy again.
What's the future, by the way, just for those tuning in? What's the future on the matching funds issue?
Well, we're in court right now, and by all accounts, by every legal scholar, we should win a slam dunk.
Right.
But
it should never happen in the first place, right?
Who knows? Kathy Hochul's responsible for most of the judges in this state, so we'll see what happens. Look, if we get a fair shake, we win. Yeah,
that's as simple as that. So what's it like for someone that will never experience this when Trump sends out a tweet about you?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would say.
So President Trump and I have a very good relationship together, and I'm not embarrassed to say that. You know, let me tell you something. I won re-election in a county with 110,000 more Democrats than Republicans.
Wow.
Okay, and I won in a landslide in a midterm election when other Republicans were either losing or their majority was going way down. And how did I do that? Because I can talk to people about their problems, and we can agree to disagree. There are certain people in my county that don't support President Trump. I do. I make no bones about it. I'm not going to be a phony about it. But what I do say to people is, let's not talk about the things we disagree about. How can I make your life better? Let's see what we can agree upon. And that's what I've done in my county. That's what I want to do in the state. If you don't like President Trump, but you have issues there where I can help you as governor, I'm going to help you. I'm going to make it more affordable, and I'm going to make it safer in the state.
Before we go, what's your campaign look like from here on out, from here until November?
Work, work, work.
Yeah.
I haven't taken 2 days off since Christmas. I don't intend to take any time off. I like to work. I love meeting people. I'm out raising money. I'm meeting people all around the state. I'm talking about issues. We're doing all the media stops. I will be tireless. We have a campaign that is just building momentum each and every day. And we're 6 months ahead of schedule.
Right.
And Lee Zeldin, who was a great candidate and a great public official, he came within 5 points of winning. And we've looked at his model, and we're improving on it. And look, I have an advantage over Lee Zeldin. Kathy Hochul didn't have 4 years as governor. Now when people compare my record of not raising taxes, of cutting taxes, safest county in America, budget surpluses, bond upgrades, against hers, which is nothing more than failure, overtaxed, overregulated, electric rates 50% higher than the national average, unsafe communities. I have an advantage over Lee because I can now say, the things Lee was telling you about that she was going to do, she did them. And that's why we're in trouble, and we'll fix it.
What was it that made you decide to run? Because this isn't an easy task ahead of you. What was it that made you make that important decision?
So that's a very good question. So I had no intention to run for governor. I had just run a very difficult race, but I won in a landslide, but had to work very hard with 110,000 more registered Democrats in my county. So obviously I got a lot of Democrats that voted for me. I got a majority of independent voters. But the reason I'm running is because even on election night, I started getting calls from people around the state saying, you're the guy that can beat Kathy Hochul. You got to run. You got to run. And I wasn't enthusiastic to do it.
Right.
I had a vacation with my family planned. And I said, I tell you what, I'll travel around the state. I'll talk to people. I'm going to take their temperature. And every place I went, it was the same story. People were miserable under Kathy Hochul. They encouraged me to run, business leaders, community leaders, political leaders. So, you know, I felt that I had to do my duty for my kids and my grandchildren and for your kids and your grandchildren. So I decided I had to do my duty and run. And I know I'm going to beat her. I know I'm going to be the governor on January 1st. And help is on the way, folks, because you are going to have a governor that makes you happy again. You're going to have a governor that cares about you. puts New Yorkers first, not people who just arrived here 15 minutes ago, and a governor who will bring down costs and have safer neighborhoods for you and your families.
You noticed during your speech in Corning, there's a lot of support for you here in Corning, isn't there?
There's a tremendous amount of support all around the state. Every place I go, people are like, thank God you're running. Please, you gotta change the course of this state. We are in a downward spiral right now. And with the communist mayor of New York City and Comrade Kathy as the governor, if she were to win, God forbid, our 4 years would be hell, our next 4 years. I want to make people happy. I want to make people prosperous. I want to get better jobs in the state, economic development, make this an exciting and vibrant place to live rather than a place that's a punchline all around America.
When you talk to so many people, because obviously you're talking to everyone on the street, you're out campaigning.
I just got to check to make sure that's not
Is that
President
Trump? Is that President Trump? Okay.
But he's done that to me before.
Has he really? That's all right. Well, you can take it if it is. I don't have to tell you that. What are people saying on the campaign trail to you? What is their biggest concern?
Affordability is number one. Safety is number two. Health care costs are number three. I mean, our Medicaid bill is the size of Texas and Florida combined, both states that are bigger than us, which means that there's a lot of fraud and abuse. I want to deliver better services, more quality services, but who's getting all this money? It's not going back to the people. It's not going to health care. It's going for all of these social projects that cost billions and billions of dollars that don't help anybody other than the people that contribute to Kathy Hochul's campaign. So healthcare is very important too. We got to bring healthcare costs down as well.
Before we go, what would you say to voters that are tuning in right now that maybe have not had the opportunity to talk with you?
I would say that help is on the way. You don't have to be miserable anymore. I want you to be able to afford not only the necessities of life, but some of the luxuries, like being able to take your kids on vacation or buying your daughter a prom dress without having to sweat it out. Right. I want to make safer communities. I want to make a vibrant economy and create jobs and economic opportunities so our kids stay here in New York State.
And how can we help your campaign?
Go to blakemanfornewyork.com. Contribute money because I'm up against Kathy Hochul and her hundreds of millions of dollars of support from special interest groups. Volunteer for the campaign. Ask for a sign. Sign up for our emails and our text messages. Go on Instagram. Go on Facebook. If you like what we're saying, say you like it. Share it with somebody else. Let the message get out that we can have a safe, healthy, and affordable state. We need new direction. Bruce Blakeman will be that type of governor.
Our next governor, Bruce Blakeman. Thanks so much for giving us so much time today.
God bless you.
It's good to see you in Corning. We'll see you again soon, I hope.
Absolutely.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
What a day. Rock and roll, let's go!
Do you want an experience that wakes you up? A place where you can scream to your heart's delight? Go ahead. No one will hear you anyway.
Yeah, let's go, baby!
Here, you don't just watch. You feel. Come as you are and have a damn good time.
Who is your daddy?
That rumble you hear, that growl you feel, that's us.
Hell yeah, boys!
CSS Workforce invites you to the 2026 Regional Job Fair at SUNY Corning Community College, Wednesday, April 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Area employers with immediate full-time, part-time, and internship opportunities will be on hand with many conducting on-site interviews. It's free and open to the public, so bring an ample supply of resumes and dress for success. Explore, network, and upgrade your career at the Regional Job Fair inside the gymnasium at SUNY Corning Community College, Academic Drive in Corning, Wednesday, April 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Spring into here at Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships in Mansfield. Drive away in a brand new Ford F-150 with rates as low as 3.9% for 72 months on select models. Or enjoy 0% APR for 36 months or $1,000 bonus cash on brand new 2026 Ram 25 and 3500. Save up to $12,000 off MSRP on select new Chevy Silverado 1500. And get 20% over KBB on your trade now until April 30th with our official buyback program. So save some green off Route 15 in Mansfield, where we're taking the deals the other guys won't.
The are in. Buy 5-star savings on top-rated items and tonight at Ray Moore and Flanagan. Upgrade your comfort with deep discounts on customer favorites like the Artemis Sectional, the Poplar Hills Dining Set, the Richmond Bedroom Set, and more. You can also shop all the top mattress brands and experience the benefit of 5-star sleep. Now is the time to buy. Get delivery in 3 days or less on thousands of in-stock items. 5-star style, 5-star savings, only at Ray.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio, rebroadcasting that interview with Bruce Blakeman. I do appreciate, I know some of you already saw it, but because of the technical difficulties yesterday, we wanted to make sure that the word got out, and we do appreciate Mr. Blakeman for stopping into the studio. Let's go to some viewer comments. The reason for the pessimism regarding the American dream, and that's in reference to the beginning of the program where we had a poll that showed that less people believe in the American dream. It is a direct result of the prejudicial Democrats' insidious implementation of DEI and woke ideologies. Well, and I don't know if we'll have an opportunity to bring it up this morning, but the universities that have been teaching this kind of distrust, to put it gently, of America, there's a really interesting piece, and that's why I hope we can get to it. But we may not be able to, because yesterday I brought to you the 86% of Ohio University students who voted in favor of an Israel referendum, an anti-Israel referendum, and it's painting a larger picture. Universities cannot survive as a left-wing echo chamber. That's according to the universities. Yale did a study, and they put the blame essentially on themselves. Many universities have become, quote, intellectual and ideological echo chambers, out of touch with the American nation and out of step with its political currents. Estimates suggest that registered Democrats outnumbered registered Republicans among faculty nationwide by a margin of about 10 to 1. 10 Democrats for every 1 Republican. At Yale, it notes the problem is even worse, with registered Democrats outnumbering Republicans by 36 to 1 across the Faculty of Arts and Science, the Law School, and the School of Management. So I guess we did have an opportunity to get to it. But if the colleges and universities expect to survive the political, economic, and technological tumult ahead, they'll have to make sweeping changes. Echo chambers must be eliminated and freedom of thought restored. But that increases that mindset when kids are indoctrinated and they get out of college with this distrust of America. Continuing with other viewer comments. I like Bruce. Elise who? Meaning Elise Stefanik. Thank you. I think Bruce did a really good job. Bruce Blakeman, it was nice to have him in the area. I knew I had mentioned that if you had an opportunity to hear him, you would like what he had to say. Meaning I saw him in Elmira, because some of us, and I think it's a rightful criticism, did not know a lot about him. Had not heard his thoughts and beliefs and feelings on things. And then I went to that, I guess you'd call it a rally with corrections officers, where Bruce Blakeman attended in Elmira. And what he was saying was spot on. So I knew if you had an opportunity that you would like it. So thank you for that. Rick writes in, good morning, Frank. Good morning, Rick. You know what's really wrong? It's the crooks within the administration that are betting on Trump's next move and making millions on it. It's called insider trading, and it needs to be addressed. I think it is being addressed. I mean, I think there's... didn't I read that they're starting to look into it? But I understand your concern there. Now I've heard it all. Trump wants to award himself the Medal of Honor for his ultra-fine leadership in the war against Iran. Excuse me, does Donald love Donald or what? He deserves a medal, all right. Don't demean the purpose of that award, Trump. And hey, Donald, how's that ceasefire going? You aren't getting a deal from Iran. They hate us. Let's do a test. Out of 350 million Americans, which American that plays golf about as bad as he runs a country do they hate the most? Is it Donald Trump? Yes, it is. Rick. Okay. Continuing here, a couple things. As I mentioned, Blakeman, when we talk with Blakeman, and I know I got to take a break, so we're going to bring it up when we return. But the matching funds, and as I said to him, do you believe Hochul's that scared that they took away his matching funds? Now, keep in mind, the matching funds idea, we don't have to like it, because I don't personally like it. Your tax-paying dollars going to a candidate that you may not support, I just don't care for. But those are the rules. That's what the Democrats set up so that the quote-unquote little guy would have a chance against the incumbent. So when the quote-unquote little guy faces Governor Hochul, the incumbent, they take away his matching funds. We're going to talk about it when we return, but I am running just a tad bit late. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
Don't have time to go to the gym? The health club is not an option? Come to Hesselson today and see why swim spas and fitness systems can fit into anyone's yard and budget. 12-foot, 14-foot, 15-foot, 18-foot dual temperature hot tub and swim spas are all on display in Hesselson's indoor and outdoor showroom. Try before you buy. 0% interest-free financing options are available on every Hesselson swim spa. Swim and exercise year-round and start making every day better. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
You deserve primary care that connects. Care that helps you move forward. Care that connects you to world-class specialists. Care that connects you to providers who are part of your community. And care that connects you to the life you love. Because great healthcare comes from providers who care about connection just like you. Find your primary care appointment at centralishealth.org/schedule.
The best chicken wings?
Ask Google. The best driving range? Ask Google.
The best Jeep dealer?
Ask Google. We did. Google reviews from customers rank Ferrario Jeep in Elmira the highest Jeep dealer in our area.
If you don't see me, I can't save you any money.
Check out the new Jeeps during our Declaration of Deals event.
Visit Ferrario in Elmira or at Ferrario.com.
Hello there. Only a slight chance of showers for our Tuesday. Temperatures on the cool side of average by about 5 degrees, still managing mid-50s. Then we have some shower chances overnight into Wednesday. Temperatures bottoming out in the low to mid-40s. By Wednesday, seasonable. Mid-60s, we'll have a slight chance of some showers. Temperatures are rather seasonable, near to above average through the forecast.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. A couple comments from viewers. Sounds like Rick has a bad case of Trump derangement syndrome. Thank you, Mark. Jack says, good morning, Frank. Well, good morning to you, Jack. The Bruce interview was even better the second time around. Thank you for showing it again. Well, thank you, Jack. I wanted to make sure that people that may have missed it because of our technical difficulties had an opportunity. Because like I said, when I went to see him, I thought, well, people need to hear more from him. They need to have that opportunity, so I'm glad that we could rebroadcast it. Ken writes in, Bruce Blakeman laid out the case for getting Hochul out of the governor's mansion nicely. If all of the Republicans turn out to vote, it could be a landslide election for conservative values. Republicans need to understand why we lose elections. They stay home because they listen to the legacy media, think about past elections, and don't think there's a chance for change in New York. I totally agree. Any law-abiding Democrat, whether they live in the city or country, should take a moment and think, what has Hochul done for them? Raised taxes, raised utility prices, welcomed illegal immigrants, and supported them with their tax dollars. Dumped criminals into our streets by closing prisons, downgraded our education system, legalized marijuana to dumb down the electorate, funded special interests to ensure a gravy train for the Democrats in power, and the list goes on and on. Thank you, Ken. So, GOP lawmakers met yesterday to push for the unlocking of matching funds for Bruce Blakeman in the New York governor race. Now, the board said that the application, as you heard from Mr. Blakeman himself, was invalid because his running mate, who was named later, never signed the form. But as Mr. Blakeman said, there was no form. As of right now, we don't know if there is actually a form. Senate Minority Leader Rob Ortt said this is a miscarriage of justice and anything resembling free and fair elections. It's a gross manipulation of a $100 million campaign finance system. They should replace the P with partisan instead of public if they don't change this. A spokesperson for the State Board of Election, which oversees the Public Campaign Finance Board, said it doesn't comment on pending legislation. So the Republicans got together, Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. We're going to hear after the break, we're going to hear from Ed Raw, Leader Ed Raw, from some audio from yesterday's event. But Assemblyman Phil Palmisano said while the matching funds program was first passed, we were told by the governor and Democrats in Albany that it would help ensure challengers are able to compete with incumbents. Now, though, we have a PCFB that has been weaponized by members from the governor's own party to deny her chances entrance into the matching funds program, or to deny her challengers entrance into the matching funds program. It's early. If the shoe were on the other foot, Democrats would be crying a foul. But because this benefits Governor Hochul, they remain silent. I urge my colleagues to pass our proposed common sense changes to ensure fairness in elections, which Democrats like to call for, except when it doesn't benefit their agenda. The legislation, which was announced yesterday at a press conference at the Capitol, will require the PCFB to accept an application to participate in the public matching funds program that has been signed jointly by candidates for governor and lieutenant governor. We're going to hear when we return from New York State Assembly Republican leader Ed Rah. So stay with us. We will be right back after this.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at nationalcasagal.org.
The deck of deals is here, and it's exploding into April at Chilson Wilcox. Drive home a Ram 1500 and save over $6,400. Plus, get 2.9% for 72 months or 4.9% for 84. And this comes with the best powertrain warranty in the business. 10 years, 100,000 miles. Or save up to $8,400 on a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee. But hurry, only 13 left. They all must go. As always, get the highest trade-in values. Period. These deals won't last. When they're gone, they're gone.
The returns are in. 5-star savings on top-rated items and tonight at Ray Moore and Flanagan. Upgrade your comfort with deep discounts on customer favorites like the Artemis Sectional, the Poplar Hills Dining Set, the Richmond Bedroom Set, and more. You can also shop all the top mattress brands and experience the benefit of 5-star sleep. Now is the time to buy. Get delivery in 3 days or less on thousands of in-stock items. 5-star style, 5-star savings, only at Ray Moore and Flanagan.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson's studio. So as I mentioned, Assembly and Senate Republican leaders introduced legislation in response to Public Campaign Finance Board's completely partisan decision. We heard it directly from Mr. Blakeman, who even laughed about the fact that there is no form for him to fill out. So let's hear now from New York State Assembly Republican leader, Mr. Ed Rah, if I can get that up there for you so that you can hear it. Here we go.
As Leader Ord said, this isn't about, the philosophy of the Public Campaign Finance Board. I think many of us have objections to the idea of public monies going into campaigns, but those are the rules as our colleagues across the aisle have set them, and we have to play by them. And you look at this decision, and as the leader said, this form didn't exist, still does not exist to my knowledge, and they went in and kicked out a major party candidate for governor, despite the fact that when he filed the form in December, they hadn't even adopted the regulation that said you have to file a joint form. They had not created the form. They sent him a letter saying he was certified into the program. They never communicated to him after that regulation was adopted that there may be a problem, that he needed to provide another form. And then they go in and on a partisan 4-3 vote, kick him out of the program. Now, there's a history there. Go back 2 years. There was guidance given about how you could utilize your monies if you were a participant in the program. Our campaign arm, the Senate's Republicans' campaign arm played by those rules. The Senate Democrats didn't. They had candidates transfer over $2 million to their campaign arm. And what did they do? They went in after Election Day and on a 4-3 vote, changed the policy so that that was okay. So they have a history of doing this. Now they're just doing it to get ahead of it and kick out the Republican candidate for governor to make sure that he doesn't get his hands on any of those funds as he challenges Governor Hochul. Take a look at what's gone on in recent years in the legislature. And as Leader Ort said, how many times the last 5 or 6 years have we heard from our colleagues, we're trying to protect democracy, we're going to save democracy with this action. But what have we seen over that time? They tried to do a constitutional amendment to allow for gerrymandering, which was rejected by the voters. They tried to do a constitutional amendment for mail-in ballots, rejected by the voters. They went in and did it by statute anyway. It said, forget what the voters want. We're doing this anyway. They changed laws about how you can challenge election laws, how you could challenge redistricting, made it so you could only go into democratically controlled counties with those challenges. When Governor Hochul made a decision on a lieutenant governor and it was well past the time to replace that person, they rushed into both chambers to make sure they gave her the opportunity and a window to replace that candidate. So here's an opportunity for once for them to do the right thing and open a window to allow County Executive Blakeman to file a form that will allow him to be in the public campaign finance system. And hopefully, maybe we actually create the form so that the form exists for him to file, because that is probably the most absurd thing about all of this, is that you're saying he failed to file a form that you never created. And if anybody followed the proceedings that day, there was a motion made by Republican appointees that, great, you're going to make this the rule. Let's stay the enforcement of this rule until we actually create the form so that it exists and the candidate can go talk to their lieutenant governor candidate and they could jointly be on the form and file it. That was rejected, again, on a partisan 4-3 vote. So this is an opportunity. If they really care about democracy, if they really care about fair and free elections, this is an opportunity to do the right thing. And like Leader Ort said, yeah, any person in our chamber who wants to take that bill from me and bring it to the floor and pass it, feel free. We'll send it over to you right now, and you can introduce it in your name, and we are happy to vote for it, support it, and we would hope that the governor, who has as well talked ad nauseum about how much she's about protecting democracy, I'm sure she'd be happy to sign it then. So thank you to Leader Ort and all of our members for being here today. This is a chance to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you to Ed Raw. We appreciate that. Tying in with what we discussed with Bruce Blakeman. Okay, we're going to wrap up hour number 1. After this, get your last second comments in. We will be right back.
What better way to start or end every day than relaxing in your very own Hesselson's hot tub? Massage therapy, relaxation, stress reliever, pain management, soothing muscles, or just spending time with a loved one. Hot water therapy really does make every day better. Hesselson's has been a part of this great community for over 70 years, still being locally owned and operated. So make the drive to Hesselson's and start making your path to a better life today. And after 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
At Simmons Rockwell, you'll find brand new 2026 Chrysler Pacifica Select all-wheel drives for only $44,999 during the Declaration of Deals event going on now at Simmons Rockwell Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Bath.
Hello there. Only a slight chance of showers for our Tuesday. Temperatures on the cool side of average by about 5 degrees, still managing mid-50s. Then we have some shower chances overnight into Wednesday. Temperatures bottoming out in the low to mid-40s. By Wednesday, seasonable, mid-60s. We'll have a slight chance of some showers. Temperatures are rather seasonable, near to above average through the forecast. A wet
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Comment from a viewer: Democrats don't care about democracy. I would say if I was a Democrat, I'd be pretty upset after a while about how the leadership doesn't want me to vote, whether it's Kamala Harris, whether it's when Bernie Sanders, the fix was in that Hillary was going to get it no matter what. Yeah, I'd be pretty frustrated about that. New York has passed its 5th budget extender, wrapping up our discussion on New York state politics, for at least now. New York lawmakers passed a 5th emergency budget extender on Monday to prevent a government shutdown as the state spending plan reaches 20 days past due. The temporary measure funds basic state operations through April 22nd as Democrat leaders continue negotiating over housing, immigration, and environmental policies. According to Democrat Assembly member Gary Pretlow, unfortunately, we have not started the game yet. There's a rain delay. And that's in reference, I know Assemblyman Phil Palmisano talked about it in our interview the other day. They kind of equate it to a baseball game, where we're at in the game. And some had said maybe it just started. So now they're saying the game hasn't even started and there's a rain delay. Republican minority members criticized extreme secrecy surrounding the talks, noting a complete lack of public releases on progress. They said the 20-day delay creates real-world financial problems for local governments and school districts. As with the 4th extender, the 5th had only one nay vote across both houses of the legislature, Republican State Senator Alex Week. On the floors of their chamber, Republican Assembly member Phil Palmisano and Republican State Senator Tom O'Mara warned that school administrators have to guess at their revenues, which could force them to raise local property taxes to cover potential shortfalls. Palmisano added that schools have a deadline on Friday to mail military ballots for upcoming budget votes. The minority party also brought up road repair crews that remain grounded. Local highway departments can't plan their summer paving schedules without final funding amounts for initiatives like the Consolidated Local Street and Highway Improvement Programs. Palmisano argued that late budgets, high taxes, and policy uncertainty destroy business confidence and push families to leave New York for other states. Quote, "We're giving them every reason to leave because of this policy. We're going to continue to lose the people that we've empowered to serve," said Assemblyman Palmisano. He and O'Mara pressed about specific language regarding electric vehicles, pension for state workers, the State Environmental Quality Review Act, or new taxes. The Democrats could confirm no legislative language available yet for any of those items. Well, that does it for this hour, but Petro and Palmisano blame the Silver versus Pataki precedent for shrinking the power of the legislature and letting the governor force policy into the budget. So there we are, the 5th extender. 3 weeks, the budget now 3 weeks late. All right, when we come back, we have a lot to cover, kind of miscellaneous items. A couple things here about Iran. As I said, the next hour we're going to hear from CSS Workforce about the upcoming job fair at CCC. You're going to want to hear all about that to be prepared. This is probably the biggest job fair in our area each year, so we're going to hear about that in the next hour. But right now, we got to take that short break. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Watch news from the Twin Tiers and catch local events on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Ferrari Auto Team!
The best chicken wings?
Ask Google. The best driving range? Ask Google.
The best Jeep dealer?
Ask Google. We did. Google reviews from customers rank Ferrario Jeep in Elmira the highest Jeep dealer in our area.
If you don't see me, I can't save you any money.
Check out the new Jeeps during our Declaration of Deals event.
Visit Ferrario in Elmira or at Ferrario.com.
See Workforce invite you to the 2026 Regional Job Fair at SUNY Corning Community College, Wednesday, April 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Area employers with immediate full-time, part-time, and internship opportunities will be on hand with many conducting on-site interviews. It's free and open to the public, so bring an ample supply of resumes and dress for success. Explore, network, and upgrade your career at the Regional Job Fair inside the gymnasium at SUNY Corning Community College, Academic Drive in Corning, Wednesday, April 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Give kids time. Just 5 minutes a day. Ask them how they're feeling. And listen.
As Leader said, this
Oh, that's not my theme song whatsoever, is it? There we go. You almost got to hear the speech again. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking. It is hour number 2, and we're so glad that you've joined us. We've got a lot to cover. Iran, some things about Republicans and Democrats, a couple really interesting stories. Let's go to some viewer comments. What's disturbing about these trends is that the U.S. higher education system didn't just eliminate virtually all conservative thought as it moved toward left-wing extremism. They also eliminated almost anyone who was in the middle, too. Anyone who doesn't fully comply with the leftist groupthink isn't welcome at American colleges and universities. And even Yale did a study on themselves and admitted that the echo chamber is a real serious concern. 36-to-1 ratio of Democrats employed on the faculty compared to Republicans. Continuing, consider yourself fortunate if you attended college in the 70s through the mid-80s, because during that period, the ideological leaning of college faculty were pretty well balanced. 40% far-left liberal, 33% far-right conservative, and 27% middle of the road. In recent years, it's become totally imbalanced with 74% far-left liberal, 15% middle of the road, and less than 11% far-right or conservative. If your children or grandchildren are attending college today, it's likely they are experiencing far-left indoctrination in most of their classes, not an ideologically balanced education. Comment from Ken. Ken writes in, a serious request for any Democrat that listens to your show, that listens to Frankly Speaking right here. Instead of regurgitating the Democrats' TDS talking points and propaganda, please send Frank a list of the laws and policies that the Democrat Party has instituted that have made your life better for both the New York State and federal governments. All Republicans and conservatives know why you hate Trump and us, because we hear it every day. What we don't know or understand is why you revere and hold up high any Democrat that throws their hat in the ring. Please enlighten us. Thank you in advance for your meaningful dialogue. Well, thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. I would love to hear from that. Speaking of that, like you said, how we've heard the arguments over and over again. I've got a couple examples of that. First of all, you may have heard, I know we brought up on the program a while ago, that Donald Trump is going to attend the White House Correspondents Association Black Tie Dinner, which is this Saturday. And according to the New York Times, it has raised some uncomfortable questions within media and political circles. What sort of message will this president, who has sued, threatened, and demonized the independent news media, deliver when handed a microphone in front of hundreds of the nation's most prominent journalists? How will the Correspondents Association, whose mission is to support the First Amendment, respond to a president whose favorite form of speech is speech that is favorable toward him? And which C-SPAN close-up reaction shots of guests like Wolf Blitzer will turn into memes the next day? Mr. Trump, whose instinct for crowd work and no perfect timing have drawn comparisons to the insult comic Don Rickles, who will almost certainly take a few pot shots. His press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, said on social media that the evening will, quote, be fun. Melania will also be in attendance. So why would that make them uncomfortable? Listen to this. We talk about the bias in the media and how so many in the media have lost all credibility at this point because of their bias. Over 250 journalists demand reporters, quote, forcefully protest Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. 250 journalists implored members of the Beltway Press Corps to forcefully demonstrate opposition to President Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So to your point, Ken, we hear the hatred for Trump every day. It's coming from the legacy media. The group of 250 reporters is demanding that the White House Correspondents Association ensure that Trump doesn't feel welcome. Quote, "We believe the White House Correspondents Association should take stronger action by issuing from the podium a forceful defense of freedom of the press and condemnation of those who threaten that freedom, followed by a standing toast to the First Amendment. Speaking forcefully in front of the man who seeks to undermine our country's long tradition of an independent, strong, and free press." Okay. Well, first of all, one thing we all know, but if you're not aware yet, the media is very full of themselves. The media thinks you want to know everything about the media and want to know everything about them, that they're the quote-unquote cool kids in the room. So they are putting way too much, those 250 journalists, quote-unquote journalists, putting way too much emphasis on the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You know who cares about the White House Correspondents' Dinner? Those in the media. Not too many people are sitting around watching C-SPAN on a Saturday night. They also noted in the letter that many journalists attending the ritzy dinner intend to wear lapel pins or pocket handkerchiefs emblazoned with the words of the First Amendment as a more low-key protest. The letter aired a litany of grievances against Trump. Another complaint was Trump's decision to pardon January 6, 2021 Capitol rioters, which the letter claims sends a message that attacks on the press will be forgiven. The call for protest comes amid polling of trust in the media, and that trust is at an all-time low, particularly among Republican voters. Last year, get this, Gallup found that only 28% of the public had a great or fair amount of trust in mass media. So there you are, 250 supposed journalists saying that you have to forcefully, essentially protest the President of the United States for attending the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Do you want me to continue with the bias in the media? William S. Becker at The Hill, you'll like this, writes that resignation is Trump's last chance at redemption. Donald Trump's presidency is a morality lesson. He is a living example of what happens when a man is given power that far exceeds his character. It is time for America to acknowledge the lesson and move on. Trump is engaged in a constant struggle for respect, seeking affirmation to maintain his facade of respectability. In reality, he seems to have starved his soul in pursuit of material wealth, power, and fame. This facade is as unstable as a Jenga tower. Trump fears that someone will pull out the piece that makes it topple, so he relentlessly punishes anyone who might try. And I'm not going to go through, they talk about the various renaming of the Kennedy Center, currency, these type of things. He doesn't understand, or perhaps will not admit, that he is memorializing a decade in which he caused decay, division, degradation, and disgrace. Wait a minute. I always find that's very interesting. So the media and those on the left have attacked Trump and Trump supporters nonstop. And because they attacked him, and they pushed this a lot in the first term, and it actually might have worked, they then blame him on the division. So they can throw everything at him, lawfare, all these type of things, trying to keep him off the ballot, call him every horrible name in the book, and do the same about you as a Trump supporter. And then he's the reason there's division. There's no self-reflection in the media. Keep that in mind. Once Trump leaves office, the plaques on his monuments will explain how the government failed America and nearly allowed the world's continuing democracy to slip away. The Trump decade should be remembered as a period when a president commandeered every news cycle by creating fresh controversies. As his power crumbled, he escalated his outrage so that each one distracted national attention from the last. So again, not blaming themselves in the media, because this is coming from the media, that when they jump onto these supposed quote-unquote scandals left and right, that somehow that's Trump's fault. Interesting. The diversion has worked, at least for now. Epstein has been pushed off the front pages, even though the Justice Department has unlawfully refused to release 2.5 million pages of evidence. I don't want to go through all of that. Not all of America's presidents have been paradigms of virtue. but they have generally understood that their legacy would not be enshrined in white marble or gold coins or in awards designed to bribe them. A president's legacy is defined by deeds. It is enshrined in policies that make America stronger, democracy healthier, life better, justice more equal, and citizens more secure. The voting public has twice given Trump the opportunity to redeem his legacy. Each time, he has only made it worse. His last chance is to resign now, citing health reasons. If he doesn't, then the challenge of redemption will pass to Congress. History will remember its current members more kindly if they do their jobs by removing Trump from office before he does irreparable damage to the country. And that, folks, is from the Hill. These are the same type of people signing the letter to protest Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. They're the same people that want us to trust and believe in their journalistic work. But Liz Peek says, do I have time? No, I got to take a break. Liz Peek kind of spoke on this. There's a couple little quick things on this, and then we got to move along. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
Spring value days are here, and our prices are lower than ever. Stop by your neighborhood value home centers and spring into savings. Save $7 instantly off all gallons of Valspar Pro Hide Gold Ultra Self-Priming Paint. Interior or exterior, starting at just $24.96 a gallon. Tackle your to-do list for less. This spring, come to Value, your hometown home center.
Value for the do-it-yourselfer. In you.
Discover how quality sleep on the right mattress can transform your day. At Raymore and Flanigan, we carry brands built for real rest. Upgrade your comfort with Sealy mattresses starting at $449 and Beauty Rest mattresses starting at $459. As an added luxury, get a free 50-inch TV with a Beauty Rest Black purchase and get free next-day mattress delivery on purchases of $500 or more. Plus, enjoy 72-month financing on in-store mattress purchases of $1,049 or more. Sleep better, feel better, live better at Raymore and Flanigan.
The Declar Deals is here, and it's exploding into April at Chilson Wilcox. Drive home a Ram 1500 and save over $6,400. Plus, get 2.9% for 72 months or 4.9% for 84. And this comes with the best powertrain warranty in the business. 10 years, 100,000 miles. Or save up to $8,400 on a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee. But hurry, only 13 left. They all must go. As always, get the highest trade-in values. Period. These deals won't last. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello there. Only a slight chance of showers for our Tuesday. Temperatures on the cool side of average by about 5 degrees, still managing mid-50s. Then we have some shower chances overnight into Wednesday. Temperatures bottoming out in the low to mid-40s. By Wednesday, seasonable. Mid-60s, we'll have a slight chance of some showers. Temperatures are rather seasonable, near to above average through the forecast.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Couple comments from viewers. Jack says the only damage that Donald Trump is doing is to the Democrat Party's failed policies. Thank you, Jack. Comment from a different viewer. Sounds like the article you read criticizing President Trump are more applicable to the blind fake news, which has indisputably described themselves. I would agree that there's a lot of things, well, just like what I said with the divide, when they say that Trump has divided us. Who is it that's been dividing us? Look at the media's coverage of not just Trump, but of his supporters. I mean, there's no self-reflection, but that's what Liz Peek said. Saying, to paraphrase President Richard Nixon, what will Democrats do when they don't have Donald Trump to kick around anymore? It's a valid question. Currently, shared hatred of Donald Trump is the bailing wire holding the fractured Democrat Party together. The party is deeply divided over nearly every facet of government and policy, with progressives and moderates warring over taxes, gender issues, AI, climate change, law enforcement, and Israel. It isn't at all clear who the party's leaders are. Is it Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, whose approval rating nationally among Democrats barely clears 40%? Or is it the far left's Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who may challenge Schumer for his Senate seat in 2028, but who is currently, astonishingly, under fire from progressives for trying to reach moderate voters? New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani is among those criticizing his party's lack of vision. telling Meet the Press, "We know very well what we oppose. What are we for?" He's not the only Democrat critical of his party. At a recent DNC meeting in New Orleans, party officials were lambasted by progressives over their ongoing refusal to release the official autopsy explaining why they were scorched in the 2024 election, a report that presumably could guide them forward. Axios has reported that DNC chair Ken Martin fears the report could unleash unnecessary party infighting, and he's probably right. Approaching the midterm, President Trump is less popular than he was during his prior term in office by 7 points. But Democrats are a whopping 30 points behind where they were in 2018. Given the president's many bold and controversial policy moves, from waging war against Iran, rebuilding the White House, implementing tariffs, bullying NATO, and torching climate initiatives, those are remarkable readings. He has given the country and Democrats plenty to rail about. Recently, scores of Democrats have threatened President Trump with impeachment or removal from office. Going into the midterm election, Democrats, including California Representative Ro Khanna and Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin, have promised that if they win control of the House, they will impeach President Trump again. In a recent MS Now interview, Khanna said absolutely he should be impeached now, and the Democrats will impeach him once we take back the House and should impeach him for all the things he's done. While not specifying what those things are, Khanna is in effect promising to put the country through more show trials and more bitter congressional hearings that do not improve the lives of average Americans. And, assuming Democrats don't achieve the necessary 2/3 majority in the Senate to convict, are an exercise in futility. Not only have Democrats threatened impeachment, but they've also vowed to go after anyone who worked in the White House as part of the current administration, and even private businesses that cooperated with the Trump White House. This from a party that wails that President Trump is out for vengeance and has weaponized his Justice Department to punish his enemies. The leader of the program was former Representative Eric Swalwell, who has been drummed out of office, accused of sexual assault. The ex-congressman proposed to act as judge and jury in making President Trump pay for his sins, promising, quote, "We're going into the majority a year from now. We will bring oversight and accountability. We will subpoena the Department of Justice, but also private actors who have done these drug deals with the administration, college campuses, entertainment companies, law firms. Accountability is coming." And again, if you're just joining us, this is Liz Peek. The singular focus on resisting Trump may provide plenty of dopamine and give Democrats ample opportunity to get together and parade around in weird costumes, but it isn't building credibility or a popular political party. A recent CNN poll shows only 28% of Americans hold a favorable view of the Democrat Party. 28%, that's coming from CNN, folks, with the Republican Party a few points higher at 32%. If Democrats believed they had more to offer, they wouldn't be fighting tooth and nail to reshape the electoral map in purple Virginia to their advantage, and wouldn't be working so hard to topple the Electoral College, which they believe favors Republicans. That effort is real, and according to the recent Washington Post op-ed, is gaining momentum. When Trump leaves office, the progressive wing of the Democrat Party will go after moderate Democrats full bore. The Zohran Mamdani Bernie Sanders faction will insist on pushing tax hikes that threaten our economy, limitations on data centers, and big tech that will undermine our global lead in innovation, and workplace policies that will slow productivity, as they have in France and Germany, while stifling energy development in service to green activists who are ignorant of reality. This growing clout among young, often ignorant voters makes these real threats. The election of Mamdani, a young, telegenic socialist with no meaningful credentials, to be mayor of New York was a wake-up call to adults in the room. Democrats are increasingly being led and funded by ideologies whose agendas are unrealistic and impossibly expensive. Sadly, young voters have not been taught why socialism has repeatedly failed, leaving the citizens of once wealthy countries worse off. They believe that Mamdani could deliver free buses and control rents without destroying the housing market. They actually look forward to a government-run grocery store that magically prices goods below market. They didn't grow up reading about how people in the Soviet Union had to stand in line for hours to buy a loaf of bread in stores where the shelves were perpetually bare. Yeah, because they're not being taught that. They're not being taught the failures of socialism, because we've been talking about the education system and its bias all morning long. History suggests that Democrats will retake the House in November. They will run on an affordability agenda and hope voters don't ask why the most expensive places in the United States are all run by Democrats. They will mostly bury their differences and campaign on opposing the president. But come 2028, Democrats will go to war with each other, and hating Donald Trump will not be good enough. I thought that was going from Liz Peek. Jonathan Alper, similar, how Trump panic broke the Democrat Party and fueled endless crisis politics. Over time, the cost is fatigue and exhaustion. When politics becomes an endless sequence of alarms, citizens begin to lose faith in the possibility of collective progressive itself. Democracy starts to feel less like self-government and more like perpetual anger. Cynicism hardens. Trust erodes. Voters will rally around danger for a while, but eventually they want something more sustaining. Direction, purpose, and future they can actually see themselves living in. Fear may win elections, but vision builds governing identity. All right, moving along from that, we're going to take a short break. We've got the job fair coming up here in just a little bit, so I want you to stay tuned for that, and we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
Hi, this is Tom Witzel, owner of Hesselson's in Amara Heights. At Hesselson's, we care about your well-being and overall health, whether it's relieving stress, muscle recovery, increasing circulation, or just revitalizing the body. Hesselson's now has 2 complete line of infrared and traditional rock saunas in our new and expanded showroom. Come in today and see why owning a sauna is a start of your new healthy lifestyle. Hesselson's is still locally and family-owned and operated in Amara Heights. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Are you my rideshare?
No, I'm William Mattar. Just reminding people, if you're injured in a rideshare crash, to give me a call.
Thanks.
Hey, what about me?
Yep, drivers too. Injured in a rideshare crash that wasn't your fault, give me a call.
Got it. Rideshare crash? Call William Mattar.
Right. Now on to the next rideshare. Rideshare crash? Only call William Mattar.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at nationalcasagal.org.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators.
What can this fall teach us about the way things move?
But right now, millions of kids go to schools that don't have the supplies they need just because of where they live. Donors Choose is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You could supply a classroom like this one with a project. But what you're really giving is the moment that sparks a brighter tomorrow. Learn more at Donors Choose.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. A viewer writes in that former Trump attorney Joseph DeGeneva was officially sworn in Florida as counsel to the DOJ's Southern District. This is what draining the swamp looks like. No more protecting the elites. Transparency, accountability, and justice. Thank you very much. A Chinese national was arrested at JFK after allegedly photographing U.S. military aircrafts at a Nebraska base. Tenru Lang is accused of violating a federal law that restricts photographing defense installations without authorization. Authorities say Lang was taken into custody April 7th while attempting to board an international flight just days after a warrant was issued in Nebraska. Also, I've got to mention this. I don't think we talked about it, or if we did, it was quickly in passing. The House Oversight Committee has launched a probe into reports of the mysterious disappearances or deaths of at least 10 scientists and researchers, working in the United States nuclear or rocket technology. James Comer and Representative Eric Burleson said if the reports are accurate, these deaths and disappearances may represent a grave threat to U.S. national security and to U.S. personnel with access to scientific secrets. Wow. They go through to list all the people with the links between the science and the missing and dead officials. Comer said something sinister may be behind the deaths and disappearances of 11 nuclear space-linked scientists. He was on Fox and Friends. He said that it sounds like some kind of crazy conspiracy theory, but the details of the case changed his mind and prompted him to alert multiple government agencies. Quote, we put a notice out to the Department of War, to the FBI, to NASA, to the Department of Energy that we want to know everything that they know about what happened with these scientists, because those 4 agencies were predominantly the agencies that those 11 individuals were affiliated with. And we want to try to piece this together. Comer plans to bring the leaders of these offices before Congress, but said he sent the letters first to allow them time to ensure their testimony would not compromise any potential classified investigation. Wow. All right. So a couple quick things, because we've got to take a break, because we're going to hear from CSS Workforce about the upcoming job fair. This is a big event that they have every year at Corning Community College. It is probably the premier job fair in our area. That is coming up, so we're going to hear about that. Also, we have quite a few guests on throughout the week. Tomorrow, we're going to hear about the Pregnancy Resource Center of the Valleys. We're also going to hear from Chris Callis with the annual college fair coming up. So if you have kids or grandkids that are of that college age or nearing it, you want to hear all about that. That's tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we're going to hear about Arts in Bloom, the studio and gallery tour. So we are busy. We had and if you missed it, I know I rebroadcast the Bruce Blakeman interview, but if you did miss it, you can find that and our special interview after with Senator Tom O'Mara, Assemblyman Joe Semplinsky, and Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. You can find that, both of those interviews, up on our YouTube page or at WYDCTV.com. All right, let's take a short break. When we return, we're going to hear all about the job fair, so stay with us.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Workforce invites you to the 2026 Regional Job Fair at SUNY Corning Community College, Wednesday, April 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Area employers with immediate full-time, part-time, and internship opportunities will be on hand, with many conducting on-site interviews. It's free and open to the public, so bring an ample supply of resumes and dress for success. Explore, network, and upgrade your career at the Regional Job Fair inside the gymnasium at SUNY Corning Community College, Academic Drive in Corning, Wednesday, April 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
It's the tea party for Crystal with Miss Marshmallow.
Oh, wow.
And Sarah's first day of management training at Goodwill. When you donate to Goodwill, you help provide skills training and career placement. And the things you love start a new life too.
What does a life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. For us, it's fighting for all veterans, ensuring they get the benefits they've earned, helping those in need, revitalizing communities, and adapting to support today's veterans. The VFW, still leading, still advancing, still serving.
Hello there. Only a slight chance of showers for our Tuesday. Temperatures on the cool side of average by about 5 degrees, still managing mid-50s. Then we have some shower chances overnight into Wednesday. Temperatures bottoming out in the low to mid-40s. By Wednesday, seasonable. Mid-60s, we'll have a slight chance of some showers. Temperatures are rather seasonable, near to above average through the forecast.
Frankly Speaking Roof Can, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, and we are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. It's hard to believe it's that time of year already to talk about the upcoming Regional Job Fair. Thanks for being back on the show for a different reson.
For a different reason, yeah. It's great to be here.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. This has become, I don't know how many years they've done this. Do you have any idea? It's got to be.
I honestly, I don't.
Can't remember
I'm
a time when it's
new in the role,
yeah.
and so I'm coming in. I know it's been around for decades.
Long time.
I think,
oh,
yeah.
I believe so, and it's coming up already tomorrow, 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. at SUNY Corning Community College's gymnasium. Tell us a little bit, because I know events like this can't take place without the importance of the sponsors. So let's start with the sponsors.
Well, absolutely. The folks that are coming together really to make this happen. I mean, we really, it's agencies that come together that want to help the employers in the region.
Right.
So my agency, CSS Workforce New York, New York State Department of Labor, certainly Corning Community College, that's where we're going to be tomorrow,
right?
In the gym, and GST BOCES as well. So
BOCES got to be
come
there.
Together. Absolutely.
Everybody's coming together to work as one. And I know the question is kind of simple, especially in today's climate. Why is an event like this so important today, but it has always been, really?
Well, it is, yes. It's always been important, but we have labor shortage in this area in so many industries. And I mean, you can walk in almost any store and you see a sign on the on the window that says now hiring.
I know.
And so we across all industries, across healthcare, manufacturing, sales, retail, you name it, we have shortages. So we want to bring these employers together. 78, we're maxed out tomorrow at 78 employers, and they feel that need. So we want to help them.
And that's in just about every kind of job opportunity range, right?
Absolutely, yes. As I mentioned, sales, manufacturing, healthcare, labor, you name it. This really is a job fair for anyone. It's free of charge. Walk in, certainly want to have your resumes with you, have a smile on your face and a strong handshake, and be ready to talk to employers.
Now, would you say, because sometimes people think of jobs fair, you don't know what different groups will be there. I mean, there's examples here where you're not just looking for a job, perhaps you're looking for a career.
Well, and that's the beauty of this.
Yeah.
A lot of the folks that we work with, a lot of the agencies, a lot of the employers, they have career ladders. I mean, healthcare is a perfect way. We have young folks and adults who start off in phlebotomy or start off as a CNA, and the employer down the road, not too distant, they'll start to help perhaps pay for LPN, for RN, and help you move up that career ladder. Manufacturing is the same way.
Right. And you've also got to look at, obviously, great careers in the future, but there is, I want to stress, full-time and part-time employment. You've got seasonal work with the summer coming up. So this really is, as you had mentioned earlier, for everyone.
It absolutely is. It's a phenomenal event. Like I said, 78 employers. I mean, it's the biggest one in the area.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're excited for tomorrow, and we want to see as many people as we can.
I couldn't agree more. So you had kind of hinted towards it. What would you say to someone watching this right now that thinks, okay, I'm going to go to this, I need a job, or maybe I'm looking for something different. There's that level too.
Absolutely.
How should they come to be prepared for the job fair?
Yeah. Well, I would start off with dress for success.
Right. Of course.
You want to look good when you come in, but or do the best you can. But you want to have resumes, and when I say that, I don't mean just bring a resume and you're all set. No, you want to have copies because you want to leave copies with every employer that you talk with. Like I said, just have a smile on your face, and be ready to engage. Be ready to talk to, hopefully, your future employer.
Right, network. Pretend it is your first interview, because in some ways it sort of is.
It absolutely is.
The first impressions, right, as
You
they
bet.
say. Now, I know people can register online. Is that a necessity, or can they just show up?
They can show up. We encourage them to. You can go to corning-cc.edu and sign up that way. But you can just walk in. It's we're going to be from 11 to 2 tomorrow at the gym and at Corning CCC, SUNY Corning.
Plenty of parking.
Plenty of parking. It's a great gym. Like I said, we're going to be maxed out with employers. It's going to be big.
So how are things going at CCC or CSS Workforce? Excuse me. You're new. Too many C's and S's.
I know, right?
And you mentioned you're new. How's everything going?
It's going well. It's an amazing agency that has been around, providing really a vital service, and we have. Again, for the employers in the region, we are trying to help them fill their workforce needs. Right. And then the residents that we have, whether young people, our emerging workforce, or adults who are looking maybe to kind of start off in a new direction.
Right.
We've got training dollars available that can help, reimburse employers for training new folks or training their existing staff. We've a lot of resources, but just as importantly, we've got contacts, we've got our partners.
Right.
Like I mentioned, New York State Department of Labor, GST BOCES, SUNY Corning CCC.
You got
we're
plenty.
we're in the middle of it and trying to provide those vital services.
Well, and I just got to tell everybody that I know Big Fox is going to be there tomorrow at the job fair.
And we're grateful.
So stop over and say hi at the booth. I don't know. I think we'll be rotating characters so there to say hi to everybody. But again, it is the regional job fair coming up tomorrow, 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. You see on the bottom of your screen, SUNY Corning Community College Gymnasium. That's one ag employers. That goes to show you, I think, too, the reputation of it.
Correct.
Because I know here and even all right, I apologize there. Let's try this again. The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, and we are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. It's hard to believe it's that time of year already to talk about the upcoming regional job fair. Thanks for being back on the show for a different reason.
For a different reason, yeah. It's great to be here.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. This has become, I don't know how many years they've done this. Do you have any idea? It's got to be.
I honestly, I don't.
Can't remember
I'm
a time when it's
new in the role, and so I'm coming in. I know it's been around for decades.
Long time.
I think,
I believe so, and it's coming up already tomorrow, 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. at SUNY Corning Community College's gymnasium. Tell us a little bit, because I know events like this can't take place without the importance of the sponsors. So let's start with the sponsors.
Well, absolutely. The folks that are coming together really to make this happen. I mean, we really, it's agencies that come together that want to help the employers in the region.
Right.
So my agency, CSS Workforce New York, New York State Department of Labor, certainly Corning Community College, that's where we're going to be tomorrow.
Right.
In the gym, and GSD BOCES as well. So
BOCES got to be
coming
there.
Together. Absolutely.
Everybody's coming together to work as one. And I know the question is kind of simple, especially in today's climate. Why is an event like this so important today, but it has always been, really?
Well, it is, yes. It's always been important, but we have labor shortage in this area in so many industries. And I mean, you can walk in almost any store and you see a sign on the window that says now hiring.
I know.
And so we across all industries, across healthcare, manufacturing, sales, retail, you name it, we have shortages. So we want to bring these employers together. 78, we're maxed out tomorrow at 78 employers, and they feel that need. So we want to help them.
And that's in just about every kind of job opportunity range, right?
Absolutely, yes. As I mentioned, sales, manufacturing, healthcare, labor, you name it. This really is a job fair for anyone. It's free of charge. Walk in, certainly want to have your resumes with you, have a smile on your face and a strong handshake, and be ready to talk to employers.
Now, would you say, because sometimes people think of job fair, you don't know what different groups will be there. I mean, there's examples here where you're not just looking for a job, perhaps you're looking for a career.
Well, and that's the beauty of this.
Yeah.
A lot of the folks that we work with, a lot of the agencies, a lot of the employers, they have career ladders. I mean, healthcare is a perfect way. You know, we have young folks and adults who start off in phlebotomy or start off as a CNA, and the employer down the road, not too distant, they'll start to help perhaps pay for LPN, for RN, you know, and help you move up that career ladder. Manufacturing is the same way.
Right. And you've also got to look at, obviously, great careers in the future, but there is, I want to stress, full-time and part-time employment. You've got seasonal work with the summer coming up. So this really is, as you had mentioned earlier, for everyone.
It absolutely is. It's a phenomenal event. Like I said, 78 employers. I mean, it's the biggest one in the area.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're excited for tomorrow, and we want to see as many people as we can.
I couldn't agree more. So you had kind of hinted towards it. What would you say to someone watching this right now that thinks, okay, I'm going to go to this, I need a job, or, you know, maybe I'm looking for something different. There's that level too.
Absolutely.
How should they come to be prepared for the job fair?
Yeah. Well, I would start off with dress for success.
Right, of course.
You know, you want to look good when you come in, but or do the best you can. But you want to have resumes, and when I say that, I don't mean just bring a resume and you're all set. No, you want to have copies because you want to leave copies with every employer that you talk with. And you know, like I said, just have a smile on your face, and be ready to engage. Be ready to talk to, hopefully, your future employer.
Right, network. Pretend it is your first interview, because in some ways it sort of is.
It absolutely is.
The first impressions, right, as
You
they
bet.
say. Now, I know people can register online. Is that a necessity, or can they just show up?
They can show up. We encourage them to. You can go to corning-cc.edu and sign up that way. But you can just walk in. It's you know, we're going to be from 11 to 2 tomorrow at the gym and at Corning CCC, SUNY Corning.
Plenty of parking.
Plenty of parking. It's a great gym. Like I said, we're going to be maxed out with employers. It's going to be big.
So how are things going at CCC or CSS Workforce? Excuse me. You're new. Too many C's and S's.
I know, right?
And you mentioned you're new. How's everything going?
It's going well. Yeah. It's an amazing agency that has been around, providing really a vital service. And you know, we have. Again, for the employers in the region, we are trying to help them fill their workforce needs. And then the residents that we have, whether young people, our emerging workforce, or adults who are looking maybe to kind of start off in a new direction.
Right.
We've got training dollars available that can help, you know, reimburse employers for training new folks or training their existing staff. We've, you know, a lot of resources, but just as importantly, we've got contacts, we've got our partners. Like I mentioned, New York State Department of Labor, GST BOCES, SUNY Corning CCC. You know,
you got
we're in the middle of it and trying to provide those vital services.
Well, and I just got to tell everybody that I know Big Fox is going to be there tomorrow at the job fair,
and we're grateful.
So stop over and say hi at the booth. I don't know. I think we'll be rotating characters so there to say hi to everybody. But again, it is the regional job fair coming up tomorrow, 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. You see on the bottom of your screen, SUNY Corning Community College Gymnasium. That's one academic drive if you need to put it in your GPS. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. Enjoy it. What are you going to do when it's all over? Just relax? Okay, it's probably a lot of planning, isn't it?
Well, it is a lot of planning, and most of it was done well before I started a couple of weeks ago.
That works out great.
But no, it's a year-round planning opportunity.
Well, to get 78 employers, that goes to show you, I think, too, the reputation of it.
Correct.
Because I know here, and even in my past jobs, that was a must-go event. If you're only going to do one job fair, if you need somebody, it's going to be this one.
Yeah, it's the big one, and you know, so many different, again, variety of employers. It is for anyone and everyone. We hope to see a ton of folks tomorrow.
Well, great. Well, thanks so much for being on the program. We'll see you up there.
Absolutely, we'll see you.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
New York State is putting nearly $60 million towards improving key roadways across the southern tier.
Many older homes are still at risk for exposing residents to high levels of lead.
The Nani Hood Parent Resource Center once again brought the community together for its annual Halloween parade.
Around the southern tier, Finger Lake stands out for its scenery and wine scene. This year's dry drought brought some positives to the crop. Lee Com Center is looking for fans to show up and show out.
Give kids time. just 5 minutes a day. Ask them how they're feeling and listen.
The Deckel of Deals is here, and it's exploding into April at Chilson Wilcox. Drive home a Ram 1500 and save over $6,400. Plus, get 2.9% for 72 months or 4.9% for 84. And this comes with the best powertrain warranty in the business. 10 years, 100,000 miles. Or save up to $8,400 on a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee. But hurry, only 13 left. They all must go. As always, get the highest trade-in values. Period. These deals won't last. When they're gone, they're gone.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. I'm not sure what happened with that little technical glitch. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think it was just a fluke. Ken writes in, could the missing scientists be connected to the thousands of Chinese military-aged young men that China allowed to leave China and illegally enter our country during the Biden administration? China doesn't willingly let people leave China. There has to be a reason they were sent here, and stealing secrets is not new for China. That's a good point, Ken. Thank you. Now, Iran has prepared to reveal new cards on the battlefield if the ceasefire isn't extended and conflict restarts, while President Trump warned a lot of bombs will start going off if there's no peace deal. Mohammed Badr Ghalib, the Islamic Republic's parliamentary speaker, said Monday the country was prepared during the truce before lashing out at Trump, who renewed his threat to blitz Iranian infrastructure if talks were unsuccessful. Quote, Trump, by imposing a siege and violating the ceasefire, seeks to turn this negotiation table in his own imagination into a table of surrender or to justify renewed warmongering. We do not accept negotiations under the shadow of threats, and in past 2 weeks, we have prepared to reveal new cards on the battlefield. Iran hasn't publicly confirmed if it's sending a team of negotiators to Islamabad, Pakistan for peace talks, but has reportedly told regional mediators that a delegation will be headed to the Pakistani capital, according to the Wall Street Journal. Now, President Trump said the clock is ticking, telling Bloomberg the ceasefire will end Wednesday evening, Washington time, so tomorrow evening. Trump said it is highly unlikely the ceasefire will be extended if there is no agreement. Then lots of bombs start going off. All right. Tommy Tuberville said, I'm hoping and praying that in the next 48 hours, with Vice President Vance going to Pakistan, hopefully they show up and we can get something done. But if we continue to let the Iranian Guard control this country, it is going to be devastating. At the end of the day, we cannot allow them to make just one dirty bomb. And so President Trump's doing the right thing. He's made the right decision. Let's get this over with. But again, we have got to take out the Iranian Guard because they're the ones that they don't care whether they live or die. They want to make sure that they can maintain control. Hopefully the Iranian people take over. While in that note, Iran has escalated their crackdowns on dissent as arrests, executions, and threats surge, according to observers. The leaders of the Iranian regime have escalated measures to silence any kind of protest and criticism against the policies both inside the country and across the land. Iranians and observers inside the country and abroad told ABC News. One woman, she has more than 400 Iranian journalists and artists abroad whose assets in Iran have been seized by the Islamic Republic for allegedly supporting what authorities describe as, quote, hostile foreign actors. Since the beginning of the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran, the Islamic Republic Judicial Authority have repeatedly said that they would adopt extreme measures against those who collaborate with the enemy, a broad accusation that they usually use against protesters. The measures range from harsh sentences by the judiciary, including death sentences and lengthy prison terms on protesters at home, to seizing local assets belonging to dissidents abroad. All right. So a couple of quick things. I just wanted to mention that quickly because we don't have a lot of time in today's program. But this is interesting. The National Republican Congressional Committee, the NRCC, raked in a record $47.1 million in the first quarter of 2026, topping their Democrat counterparts by nearly $2 million ahead of the midterm election. The hefty sum was boosted by the best March fundraising the NRCC has ever recorded. The best March fundraising the NRCC has ever recorded, with $28.1 million in donations, capping off the quarter of the House GOP's campaign arm. NRCC Chairman Richard Hudson said this historic fundraising quarter proves House Republicans have a tremendous amount of enthusiasm behind our agenda to lower costs and keep Americans safe. House Republicans are united, battle-tested, and building the financial firepower to protect our majority and take the fight directly to Democrats' extreme agenda. The NRCC has raised a total of $164.4 million during the current cycle and has $78.2 million in cash on hand, with less than 7 months to go until the midterms. Congressional Republicans have now outraised Democrats on average for 5 straight quarters. The group noted that it is the first time in a decade that it has outraised House Democrats' campaign arm in the first quarter of the election cycle. We got a lot more to talk about. Get your last second comments in because we're getting ready to wrap up today's edition of Frankly Speaking. Don't go anywhere.
Insurance companies don't make money by paying claims. They make money by denying them. They hire doctors to say you're not that hurt. They bring in lawyers to chip away at your case. They stall, they argue, they cut corners, because every dollar they save is another dollar of profit. At WYDC Injury Law, we know their tactics, and we fight back with facts and evidence. If you've been injured in New York or Pennsylvania, call 607-500-HURT. Don't let the insurance companies control your story.
Lease a brand new 2026 Hyundai Elantra SE sedan featuring alloy wheels, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay with no money down for only $239 a month for 36 months. Make car buying simple. Drive your deal at Simmons Rockwell Hyundai in Big Flats.
Hello there. Only a slight chance of showers for our Tuesday. Temperatures on the cool side of average by about 5 degrees, still managing mid-50s. Then we have some shower chances overnight into Wednesday. Temperatures bottoming out in the low to mid-40s. By Wednesday, seasonable. Mid-60s, we'll have a slight chance of some showers. Temperatures are rather seasonable, near to above average through the forecast.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio as we get ready to wrap up today's edition. But a lot of people are mad at Gavin Newsom. They said he's quiet quitting. He has taken 45 out-of-state trips since 2023, which equates to 299 travel days or 2 total months each year as he plots his White House bid. All right, Gavin Newsom. Well, we know he's going to run. Comment from a viewer. I'm absolutely happy that Lawler didn't run for governor. His vote on TPS shows he is a coward and would not stand up for New York. One of the major concerns about when Lawler was throwing his name around there for potential governor's run was the fact that he was a quote-unquote moderate, that he was not, definitely not MAGA, but definitely leading to more moderate to Democrat light. So I understand your point there. Dan McLaughlin says, Democrats sometimes win the battle of ideas with big promises of what government should do. They lose the war when we see what actually happens. One of the GOP's core principles is the government can't be trusted with your money. Even when it's doing the job only the government can do, like the military or the police, there's always waste and people gaming the system. Then from $900 hammers to excessive overtime. It gets so much worse when you make the government bigger and design it around giving people free stuff and building things the market wouldn't buy. Democrats get elected promising this, then keep reminding us why they can't be trusted. So what this all boils down, I'm not going to go through all the exact examples of this, But now we have Democrats arguing for a wealth tax to pay for programs and prevent rich people from just wasting the money. But why should we keep shoveling more money into the same old holes in the ground, knowing we'll learn a few years later that so much of it has just vanished or been used to do nothing? Given more of other people's money, Democrats will just waste more of it or let it get stolen by their friends. I thought that was a good point. You can find that full piece at the New York Post. Danny McCarthy writes, Republicans are toying with migrant amnesty and risk destroying their own party. Heading into the midterms, the last things the GOP should be doing is alienating its core voters on immigration. But yet, Representative Maria Salazar's legislation does just that. In the Orwellian way proposed laws are labeled these days, this one is called the Dignity for Immigrants While Guarding Our Nation to Ignite and Deliver the American Dream Act, or Dignidad, Spanish for dignity. President Trump last year signed an executive order designating English the nation's official language. Shouldn't it also be the official language for the short title of a Republican Congresswoman's immigration bill? We don't have to go through all this because we don't have time. But for the GOP, this bill means death with indignity at the polls. Salazar and company should think again. Now is no time for Republicans to run from the issues that more than any other put President Donald Trump into office. We have the sad note yesterday, we did not bring this up yet. A Canadian tourist was killed and 13 others were injured, including several Americans, after a crazed gunman held a group of people hostage atop a pyramid at those ruins in Mexico. The gunman climbed midway up the Pyramid of the Moon, a nearly 2,000-year-old structure that was once used for ritual human sacrifice, just after 11:30 a.m., and opened fire on his cowering victims before finally turning the gun on himself. The shooter was identified as Julio Cesar Yazo of Mexico, according to the Associated Press. He died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound at the scene, where security officers recovered a gun, knife, and ammunition. Well, that does it for today's edition of Frankly Speaking. Oh, another Democrat did exit the California's crowded gubernatorial race. That makes it look like that's the reason why Eric Swalwell's out. They need to start kind of unifying. So that's a better step for Democrats on that. Okay. There's a Michigan Democratic Senate candidate who claimed that Israel is, quote, just as evil as Hamas. Yes, killing tens of thousands of people makes you pretty dang evil. It's not how evil is the one versus the other. Hamas evil, Israel government evil. We can say both. Wow. Running for Senate in Michigan. All right, comment from a viewer. I hope New York City, the 5 boroughs, Long Island, Albany, Erie County, remember this in November. What do they need to remember? The fact that Governor Hochul, Mamdani don't care about legal American citizens. The only people that they care about are illegals, and that's it. The only thing they want from legal American citizens that live in New York State is their taxes, and that's it. Furthermore, Hochul and Mamdani need to be impeached or recalled, because if they're not, New York is going to turn into a cesspool. Thank you for all the comments this morning. I want to thank a representative from the job fair coming right up at CCC. We appreciate that. Also, rebroadcasting of the Blakeman interview. On tomorrow's broadcast, we're going to hear about the Pregnancy Resource Center of the Valleys. We're also going to hear from Chris Kals, our good friend Chris Kals, about the upcoming college fair. And then on Thursday, Arts in Bloom, studio and gallery tour coming to Corning. So we have a jam-packed week. Make sure you tune in every weekday morning, starting at 6 for Frankly Speaking, only on WYDC TV Big Fox. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. Look forward to it already.
Hi, this is Tom Witzel, owner of Hesselson's in Amara Heights. At Hesselson's, we care about your well-being and overall health, whether it's relieving stress, muscle recovery, increasing circulation, or just revitalizing the body. Hesselson's now has 2 complete line of infrared and traditional rock saunas in our new and expanded showroom. Come in today and see why owning a sauna is the start of your new healthy lifestyle. Hesselson's is still locally and family-owned and operated in Amara Heights. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
I have a house. I have a car payment. I have a giant child who eats me out of house and home. So $300 for 2 cell phones in this economy? No. I didn't know Spectrum had mobile services. The cost, that's what sold me. You're saving so much money. It's for the everyday person.
Real customers, real savings. Visit spectrum.com/save1000 to learn how to save $1,000 guaranteed.